I, you will be amazed. Prime time interview with Derrick Hayes. Prime time, biggest names in the game. Prime time, new names that love the same.
Yes, y'all back with another episode of Prime Time. Some of you looking at it like it's prime time, but see the M is small and the M is silent because in life, sometimes the smaller things will quietly lead you to the bigger opportunities. I go by the name of the Entertainer. Please follow me on all social media platforms at Entertainer and even on Cash App. Today we have a special guest. She is a yoga expert. She delivers her message through the hope process. Yes. As you see on my tie, it's hope. Because even the Bible says faith, hope, and love. See, before you get to love, you got to have hope. The 3 B's. She teaches the hope process through the 3 B's. First one is breath. No breath, no life. The second B is the body. And the third B is belief. Ladies and gentlemen, hope from A to Z with Hope Zvara. How you doing tonight?
I am fantastic, and I have to say kudos to you. You pronounced my last name correctly on the first try, so you already were off to a good start.
Oh, well, we off to a great start. That's what I'm talking about. Follow Hope at her on her website, hopezvara.com, spelled with the Z and the V. And follow her on most social media platforms at Hope Zvara. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to keep it simple. So through the word simple, I'm going to have some questions for Hope so she can break down some things to help you get into your swing. Because you never know who can come by with a message that can take you out of your misery. The essence for story, Hope. Let us get to know you a little better. Tell us about your story.
Well, my story starts knee-deep in an eating disorder. And I had spent most of my life struggling with anxiety and depression. And I didn't know that I was struggling with anxiety and depression like kids today. I just knew that something wasn't right and I was different. And that spiraled out of control into an eating disorder and anorexia and bulimia and alcohol and drugs. And I just felt like there was no hope for me. But there was always this small little glimmer, this small little voice inside that was like, keep going. And I stumbled eventually onto yoga. I was about 17 and a coworker at work randomly one day looked at me and said, you look like someone that would practice yoga. She had no idea what I was secretly going through, that I was struggling the way I was struggling. And something in me just clicked. I went home that day and truth be told, I didn't even really know what yoga was. It was like somebody had spoken a language to me for the first time that I wanted to understand. And I went home and I told my mom and she was like, I had practiced yoga in college. Why don't we go take a class? And okay. I still remember that Wednesday night yoga class. Rolling up my mat after what seemed like forever, even though it was only 60 minutes. I remember walking out of the door and looking back and noticing something that I hadn't felt in years. That anxiety, that restless mind, all of those cluttering thoughts that were so overwhelming were gone.
Wow.
My mind was clear and I was hooked after that. I was hooked because for the first time in my whole life, I felt like I had the space to breathe and to hear and to listen and to know what my next steps were. And mind you, this wasn't like I woke up healed the next day. Although I spent many nights, please God, help me wake up and be normal the next day. He had other plans for me. But what it did give me is it gave me hope. And every Wednesday night, I kept going back to that yoga class. I kept showing up scared and anxious. I was younger than everyone by 25 years, but I kept showing up. And what I didn't realize at the time was that it was teaching me these absolutely critical skills for life. It was teaching me how to breathe. It was teaching me how to be patient with myself. It was teaching me how to feel the feelings that I had spent 10 years trying not to feel. And anyone that's struggling with an addiction understands that. Like, feelings are the enemy. Like, you want to numb yourself. And yoga kind of opened this box up for me to myself. It wasn't towards anything else. It wasn't towards a religion. It was to me that, like, I could hear clearly. I could take those steps forward. And I did that. And piece by piece, bit by bit, I eventually opened a yoga studio, and I married my high school sweetheart. I started a yoga school, and a few months into being married, my husband and I found out we were pregnant. And I had early in recovery, I thought I couldn't get pregnant, and God again had other plans. And at 29 weeks pregnant, on May 23rd, 2007, I delivered my baby Faith into this world. And 20 minutes later, she died in my arms.
Wow.
And to this day, I still remember that feeling of like, why, God? I just got up on my feet and you're knocking me down again. You're not, like, this is so unfair. And after weeks of grieving, there I was again on my yoga mat. And having to believe that there was a reason why this happened. Because my only choice was to grieve the loss of my daughter and let it break me, or decide that there is a reason why her life was as short as it was. She gave me hope to keep moving forward. And that's what I did. And eventually, as I kept coming back to the mat, I started sharing my story. I realized that I wasn't alone, that there were other people dealing with addiction and anxiety and depression and struggling with the loss of their child. And they started saying to me, Hope, how are you making it through this? How are you able to overcome these things? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not overcoming them. I'm just moving through them.
Right.
And eventually I created this process called the Hope Process. And it really just kind of stemmed from the fact that I was doing all these things. And someone said to me, well, what's your process? And I thought, that's a good question. And so it's all of these things accumulated. I call it my yoga toolbox. I call it my life toolbox. And it's the whole process, helping others purposefully excel. And when I look back over the last almost 20 years of my life,
I'm glad you said that, because earlier you were talking, I do things with words, and I had hear our prayers every day. Oh.
I know. And so I started recognizing, one of my mentors said to me, he goes, Hope, what are things that people keep asking you about for helping? And I was like, well, breathing, their body, posture, feeling, all of that goes with the body, and belief. And so it became the 3 B's: breath, body, and belief. And I have found that these are the 3 categories that are critical to having mental health, physical health, emotional health, and being able to not just survive in this life, but thrive. And that's why I'm here with you today.
I like that. And the I in the word simple is for improve. How can you find ways to improve on a daily basis? Speak to the people out here that may be listening right now, or they may be listening later on. What are some things they can do to find ways to improve? Well,
I'm a simple gal. I like simple things. And so for years, I tried to shove myself into, you should have a 90-minute yoga practice. You need to be in the Bible for 20 minutes in the morning every day. You need to drink a green smoothie and go for long walks and do all these things. And what I recognized was the missing piece to that was, I'm trying to remove myself from life to improve myself. Which, what if I reverse that and I just add these little things into my day in the small pockets of time that I have? And that's what I've done now for the last 5 years. Instead of a 60-minute yoga practice, I find those little moments where maybe I'm on a podcast and I'm waiting to go on, or maybe I'm reading a book, or I'm listening to a video or audio, and I can do a little bit of yoga. Maybe I can walk and talk to my best friend on the phone. Maybe while I'm waiting for my kids to come out of school, I can just close my eyes and I can just talk to my creator. And I started to take out the stress of trying to add more to my life by simply finding the moments in my day that I can just add those in. So the simplify, the keep it simple, is find 3 to 5 minutes within your day to add movement in, to be able to dive into a meditation or a prayer, or to just take a time out and breathe. You'll be surprised that there are moments like that throughout your whole day. And by the time you go to bed at night, all of those moments add up to maybe that 60-minute workout that you promised yourself that never happened, or that promise to have whatever it was, but you ran out of time. So let's find the small moments within the day that add up to a lot at night.
And I like that because, tell them about the 3 minutes, because the 3 minutes could, correlate with the 3 B's, take 3 minutes to, get your beliefs together. Take 3 minutes to get your body moving.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. That's a beautiful thing. The M is for move. Now you mentioned about different things that you had to overcome. How are you able to move past them, or how do you help others move past them? Is there any other suggestions you can give? Because there's people out here that are hurting. There's people that, every tip is not for everybody. So a tip you gave earlier might work for Susan, and then the tip you about to get now might work for Janice.
Absolutely. I think the first thing, I have 2 things, if that's okay. The first thing I recognized in my own journey was I started to tell myself that there has to be a reason. So when I felt like God was turning his back on me, or I felt like things were hard, I kept telling myself, I'm being prepared for something bigger. I'm being prepared. I'm learning this now, so I don't have to learn it later when it really counts. And so I started telling myself this on a daily basis while going through recovery, after I lost my daughter, when the computer ate my application for my vocational school in Wisconsin. It was 40 pages I had to rewrite, 8.5 months pregnant at 11:30 at night. Like, I had to tell myself, this is something preparing me for something better to come. And looking back, every time I had to say that to myself, there was something greater on the other end. So that's the first thing. The second thing, to move forward, I would say you got to get up and move. Our brains are stimulated by movement. If you want more serotonin and dopamine and endorphins to your brain, the natural way to get that is to get up and move. I don't care if it looks funny. I don't care if you have to dance, if you have to walk around your house, if you have to jump up and down, if you have to do squats in your bathroom, whatever it is. Just, I promise you, just get up and move for 3 minutes without delay. Set a timer. Until that beeps, you got to be moving. And I promise you, you will feel so much better physically, mentally, and emotionally, all because you got up and moved. You just got to get out of your own way.
I like that. I like that, because as long as you got a breath, you can move your body, and it's going to stimulate belief. I like that.
And you know what? Who cares if someone's watching? And maybe if they are, guess what? What if you encourage them to do that themselves? Imagine if you led somebody else to make that decision as well. That's an awesome thing.
I laugh at myself so much that, great things keep happening, The P is for possible. Why? I was reading the information on you. Why should people even want the best damn life possible?
That's a great question. Because I believe if you're here and you have breath in your body, the average person takes 21 to 24,000 breaths a day. How many of those breaths are you actually aware of? I believe that the breath is the first thing that we're given in this life and the last to be taken away. And it is our job to respect that and honor that. And so in moving forward, realize that all things are possible with your breath, just by paying attention to, this is why I'm alive. And if there's still breath in your body, I believe that there's still a reason for you here on this earth. There is still a purpose for you, no matter how big or small that purpose is, no matter if it hasn't been revealed to you yet. I used to ask myself why every night and cry myself to sleep. Why, God? What is the point? Why am I here? Why am I going through all these struggles where all my friends, all my peers get to have a normal teenage life? Why me? And all I can say to that is, I see why. So if you don't see it yet, just know you're being prepared for that. And there is a reason. Until your breath is taken out of your body, there is still a purpose for you. And don't lose hope in that. Hold on to that.
You got to do that. The L is for left. What is left for you to accomplish with your practice and with your life? What is left for you to do?
I think for me, on a personal level, what's left for me is to see if I can continue to dig deeper. I look at it like layers. I just keep peeling a layer off, and then I see another part of me that I can work on improving. And it's not to be better anymore. It's not to try to be perfect like a part of my life was, where perfection was an addiction, but rather just to see how much better I can be for the people in my life. But in addition to that, what's left for me is I'm on a mission to help people never lose hope in their life, to show them, whether it's through yoga or breathing or a talk like this or a smile on the side of the road or holding a door open for them when the door was slammed in their face where they were last, and to show them that they should never lose hope. You lose hope in humanity, lose hope in kindness, lose hope in the fact that there is purpose for them in this world.
And the last letter in the word simple is N. At the end of the day, how do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as somebody that always lived her life full of hope. You know, kind of funny, my sisters, I have 3 sisters, and they're Heather, Jessica, and Lindsay. Why am I hope? Why me? Why am I hope? Why aren't my sisters Faith, Love, Charity, or some other weird names? They're not. I have to believe, I'm like getting emotional over this. I have to believe that there is a reason for that. And the end is to give that to other people. My mom used to say, she used to take me to the grocery store and she said, hope, people would flock to you. Little kids, older adults, seniors, and they would come to you and they'd be like, oh, and they would just be attracted to you. I don't know why. I had my other kids with me. So I have to believe that my mission is to give hope to as many people possible in this lifetime. And I'm still here. So that mission's not over.
Hey, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. Before we go, is there anything else you'd like to add or anything that we missed out or left out?
I think the last thing I'd like to say to all the listeners here is, if you've been trying something for years, weeks, whatever, and it's not working, the only person in your way to try something different is you.
Hey, can you say that? Somebody need to hear that again.
So if you feel like you've been trying everything, you've been doing something for weeks or months or years, and it's not working, the only person keeping you from making that change in your life is you. Whether that's to improve your diet, to get more exercise, to improve your marriage or leave your marriage, to whatever it is, to get a new job, to move across the country, the only person in your way is you. And I say that not to go, oh, that means that I suck. No, that's to say that you hold the keys to the Jeep. You hold the keys to your future. And all you have to say is, I'm in and I'm going to do it. And you have to trust that those other things that you can't figure out, they'll happen along the way. But get out of your way. I did that for my life. It wasn't an easy process, but every single day got a little bit easier. I kept stepping off to the side and just letting things happen. As long as I showed up, I want you to do the same thing. Trust me in that. Surround yourself with good people like Derrick here and keep on. Keep on.
Hey, it's a blessing, ladies and gentlemen. I brought you the yoga expert. She gave us the hope process with the 3 B's: breath, body, and belief. None other than Hope Zvara. Follow her on at our website at www.hopezvara.com. All over social media at Hope Zvara. We use the word simple because she's a simple lady from Wisconsin. And she told us about her story. Gave us some nuggets on how you can improve and how you can move past what's holding you back. Let you know that things are possible. And that one of the things left for her to do is to bring more people with her. And at the end of the day, she wants to change lives. So it's a blessing that, you know, things happen for a reason. And never give up. I wasn't going to say anything earlier, but this interview right here is a moment that you should never give up. Because,
never lose hope.
Yeah, because we misconnected earlier. We were supposed to be on at a different time. But I never, for whatever reason, I never took my tie off.
And you know what's funny? And we're later, my calendar and whatever, and we're remodeling, and I was like, where can I do this? And I messaged you, and it was like, I'm just gonna go for it. You know, it's late, whatever, we're just gonna make it work. And I didn't lose hope that we were gonna make this work either. So that's a perfect example of you just gotta go with it and see what happens in life.
It ties into what's going on. So that's why I wanted to share it, because you know, I even had put a message up that, you know, I'm ready, you know, but things don't work sometimes. But we're here. So I just want to say thank you for the interview. And like I tell everybody, you know, if you're a big name or you're a new name, you know, the love is still the same. So we have an opportunity for you here Monday through Friday, most nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please follow me on all social media platforms at Entertainer, and even on Cash App. And just like my friend Zay Sanford, Z-A-Y Sanford, Zay Sanford Music, he brought us in, and he's going to take us away. Follow him on Zay Sanford Music on Twitter and Instagram.
Time, you will be amazed.